Hey, we hope you enjoyed the first episode all about flipping land. We've got such good response from the content on this podcast and on the first episode. We want to do a part 2 with the rest of the podcast. It's all about land flipping, the things you need to know, and if you're going to invest in something, it might as well be the earth, because it's the best investment on earth is dirt.
And so all this recreational land is bought off emotion, like the way it makes you feel. I'm talking about end user. So if you ride down roads and limbs are slapping you and there's banana spiders and the grass is 6 foot tall, guess what? It's going to be hard to get that good feeling. Yeah. I can get it because I can look past it, but still, if you meet your client at 3 o'clock and you ride and the grass is cut and the roads are good and you see some deer, you bring them where you show deer pictures, you bring them to a mineral lick where the deer's smoking, you bring it to a trail you found that that has it, or you bring it to a pond maybe that you built on a tract of land and said, hey, we just stocked this in 2 years, it's going to be da-da-da-da-da. Fix the unknowns is huge. I think that unknowns is what makes people not pull the trigger. I don't know, Slade. You said we can get the power out here, but I ain't never done anything like that. I don't know, Slade. You said it's good timber, but man, I don't know. You got to be able to make people comfortable with their purchase in a good way. You need to make people, if somebody's going to spend a big chunk of land, you need for them to be comfortable. That way, after you sell them that tract of land and their buddy calls them and says, hey, I want to buy a tract of land like you. Well, look, this guy buys it and sells it and fixes it up. You need to call him. He took good care of me and I trust him.
Yep.
That's going to work for you better than swindling people like so many people in the land and flipping business. Look, that's going to all catch up with people.
Well, even if it's not in this life, it will in the next. When they get before the Lord, he ain't going to ask them what their GCI was.
That's right.
So...
Well, what's some other questions you got?
I got a couple more. So we've kind of gone through the whole process, but have you ever had one? I know you said you never lost money on a deal, but have you ever had one that took a lot longer than what you thought it would be to sell?
Absolutely.
Okay, why?
Okay, I bought 337 acres one time in Franklin County. Goodbye. I sold one side of the road immediately, made $70,000. And I don't care about talking about these numbers because there's too many variables, nobody know anyway. Okay, I made $70,000 like that. Okay, I had the 2/3 of the property left. I sat on it 3 years, cut some timber, did a bunch of work, did all this kind of stuff. I ended up breaking even on this piece. Just got out of it, guy made me an offer, boom. But I made $70,000 on the deal.
What do you think was the hang up? Can you attribute it to anything? Because you did everything right.
Right. Look, there's some asterisks there. And we'll go into the next property. It's going to attest to the same thing. There's sometimes, I don't know. Like we all list, it's the same thing when we all list property. Like, I don't know why it's not selling. It's so good. There's just things that happen.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird sometimes. It's like one feature or one something makes people not pull the trigger. Yep. But, so I had the place called Deer Creek. Not Deer Creek. What do I call it? Dixon Creek. Mm-hmm. Dixon Creek. Y'all probably remember me advertising and had the red gate with Dixon Creek. And look, that place was loaded with big deer and loaded with turkeys. I'm telling you, I had 150-inch deer on camera every year on it. It was as good as any place in Wilkes County to get big deer pictures. And I say get big deer pictures. If I wasn't a bow hunter trying to film everything, I'd have killed a bunch of them. And that's fact. Anyway, it loaded with timber. It took me 3 years to sell that place, and nobody could figure out why. It took me 2 years to close on it because it was 70 landowners. And see, that's another good point is a problem property. Maybe no recreation buyer sitting around 2 years waiting on something to close. Right. An investor will, because they'll keep doing other things, and that was me. And so then I sat on it 3 years after that. So I was involved with that property for either 4 or 5 years, if I remember right. But ended up selling it, making a good bit of money on it. And, what happens is I sold it for a lot more than I paid for it, but I've also paid a bunch of interest on it. That's what eats you up. But I did real good on it and moved on to actually bought the tract that I have out here on Lower Central Road with that 1031. And I was planning on selling that tract, but it's got a lot of turkeys on it.
I appreciate you.
And Caleb killed a big buck on it. And I'm gonna sell it one day, I think, but it's not anytime soon. I got one of them good COVID interest rates on it with Southern Ag, so I'm just gonna sit tight. But Yeah, some of them are going to take longer than others, and you need to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
That's where options comes in huge. You need to know the market really good if you're going to overextend yourself. Mm-hmm. So you need to get tight with Alex and Austin at Southern Ag or your banker and make sure, okay, that my balloon note happens in 3 years, and how am I going to do this? And okay, if I got to sit on a little while, can I cut some timber? Can I sell off a piece to help cash flow? You need to know all these things. Some of them, I don't care how good a buy you make. Look, I'll tell you, Dixon Creek, I paid $2,300 an acre for, and it had $1,500, $1,800 an acre worth of timber on it in Wilkes County.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Yeah, and look, I went in, I put 4 food plots on it, I put box stands on it, I had pictures of 150, a couple of different 150-inch deer, loaded with turkeys. Bear Cub killed a 3-legged turkey out there. I mean, what other track can you do that on?
Yeah.
That's a fact. I said, yes, Bear Cub killed a 3-legged turkey out there. He come hopping in.
Like Michael Waddell said.
That's it. Yeah. But that's fact. And that's not just me saying that. I'll show you the pictures. And we got an episode of it. But anyway, some of them are going to take longer than others, and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason why.
Okay. Well, that brings me to my final question, and you kind of didn't know you were going in this direction, and we won't go down the rabbit hole on this, but you were talking about getting right with Alex. Don't overextend yourself. So we mentioned talking to your mortgage officer and not overextending yourself. Now, what are some options and some strategies when financing if you find a home run deal like Dixon Creek where you just say, okay, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to overextend myself a little bit. And you've got some other deals going on. What are some strategies when financing if you're low on cash? Okay, this is a good point. I got a client working with Alex on this right now. Okay, let's say you have some equity in something else. Okay, let's say you bought your home for $250,000 10 years ago, and you only owe $100 on it. Well, you can take you can take a line of credit on that to pay get some cash. If you investing and doing this a long time like me, like I own some properties outright that I don't owe the bank on, so I'll take those as the Southern Ag or a lot of banks will take those as collateral, and I don't have to come up with any cash, which is huge. Right now, I'll just kind of give you an example. I bought 95 acres and 44 acres yesterday, Ryan and I, outright, no bank involved, and we're going to be buying another tract in Missouri, a 242 acre tract, and we're not coming up with any cash to buy that one. Southern Ag's taking a line of credit on some of the stuff we own outright. So that's probably a little farther down the road for a lot of people, but that's where you get, because look, at the end of the day, you got to have cash to pay your bills and take your kids to Walmart. For sure. And so you need, there's other ways to get that, to get that cash. And look, if you got a friend that you trust or whatever, man, look, there's power in numbers, because if you say, look, my budget is $100,000, there's a lot less deals at $100,000 than there are at $2 million. Yep. So if you can get together and pool money, it helps you be able to find more deals. Doesn't mean you can't go buy stuff on your own, but if you can pool money, you have more options. Because if you said, look, my budget is $100 for me to flip something, and a smoker deal comes up at $300, well, that's one you will miss out on unless you figure out a way to get more money or get more people involved. So I think something good to get with your loan officer or whatever. You need to have all that stuff in line, because deals don't last. Yeah.
You need to be confident enough in contracts, attorneys, surveyors, timber people, bankers, probably number one. When you get to that road, you need to have in your mind, if I don't buy the, if you're not worried about somebody else buying, it's probably not the right deal. That's a lot to do with that feeling. Yeah. But I've walked on tracks, and halfway through, I call the owner or the agent or whoever and said, "Look, make them offer this right now." Like, you got to put your money where your mouth is. At the end of the day, it's big boy moves. You got to be confident in what you do, and the only way you do that is to stay in your lane and know everything that has to do with this. And look, this is the easiest time ever to do this. You can sit in your living room and find deals with, on the internet and things like that. Mapping, usually I can tell you if I want to buy a track by the maps. That's like, right. Heck, the 95 acres I bought yesterday, I've never seen. Ryan went and looked at it, but I've never seen it. The 242 in Missouri, I've never seen it. Bearco went and looked at it, but if you've been on enough of them and to know the areas and the maps, you probably need to go look at them. No, but and sometimes
not necessarily if you've got the right team built around you. You trust Ryan with your life. You trust Bear Cub with your life. If you're in a foxhole, you'd feel good with them. Now, if you've got a team around you like that, it totally changes the dynamic and what you're.
Yeah, if I told Caleb today, "Hey, run by and look at this tract of land, tell me what you think," I'd buy it off of that, because I know the way he thinks and what's important and that sort of thing. So you need to know all this stuff. You need to know it backwards and forwards. The only way you do that is spend time doing it. Like what I was getting at, it's easy to do right now. You can watch this on YouTube or listen to podcasts. We're teaching you a lot here. There's a lot more like this. Now make sure the people you're listening to have actually done it. It's not just the idea of buying and selling. Make sure they've done it. Go follow every real estate agent in the area on social media. Like, look every person in Missouri and heck around the country. I follow every agent. I want to look for deals. I want to learn. If I want to go into Oklahoma or Kansas one day, I want to know all those agents and kind of keep up with it. This is what I geek out on. So follow all the agents in the area you want to do. Get on their email list. Look on Land Watch. This stuff needs to be just rolling off your tongue, because here's the deal. If you said, look, land in Wilson County, 3,000, 3,500 an acre. Yeah, 5 years ago, it's 4,500, 4,000 now. So it's always changing. You need to know, and maybe that person that's selling their land on Facebook Marketplace, they still think like 5 years ago. And look, if they want 3,200 an acre for it and it's worth 4,500, and you go give them 3,200, there ain't nothing wrong with that. You gave them exactly what they wanted. You don't feel bad when you go to the car dealership and the car dealership says, "Look, we ain't sold much this month. You can buy this truck for 40. It's worth 48." You feel great. It's the same way about land. If somebody wants that much for it, buy it.
And I can promise you, if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. They're not going to get saved. No one's going to come to their rescue. Right. Okay, so look, everyone.
The only way that someone can come to your rescue if they called an agent, which is a good point, a good agent that would shoot them straight, not just tell them what they want to hear. But, I think it's a great time. Look, this is easy for me to preach because almost every dollar I got is in a stick of land, a tree or some dirt somewhere. they're not making any more land. Land may do this a little bit, but look, it's doing this. It's going, if you're just listening and not watching, it's going up. It may go, kind of like stock market's already going, land's always going up. Inflation's through the roof right now. Land values are keeping up, if not outpacing inflation. And that's not going to end anytime soon. Things can happen in certain areas, but I promise you in Southwest Mississippi, the outside factors as far as Baton Rouge moving this way, they keep shooting people in Baton Rouge, New Orleans. People are going to recreate and they're coming up here. And I think in mine and Tim's generation and Caleb's too, I think our generation feels like, I'm not saying it's right, but they feel like they're entitled to recreate. Like people our age they go to the beach if they're not, if they can afford it or not, because they feel like they're entitled. I don't think our parents' generation felt like that.
Right.
And so you see people buying more land and stuff like that because, hey, I've always wanted a tract of land and I'm by it, but
well, they think it's normal because they see it all the time. We've got social media now, so they see everyone going to the beach. They see everyone buying land. They see everyone posing with big deer, and so they think, oh, what, everyone's doing it. Why am I not doing it? But that's not really the case.
That's right. And look, I'm going to get off on a little soapbox real quick. Let me tell you, you're talking about where you find money and stuff like that. Look, a lot of people wanting to do this are maybe younger, more aggressive, in their late 30s, early 40s, maybe low 50s. They're looking to invest in land. Here's the deal. I drive a truck with 260,000 miles on it, and I can take you and drive you to all kinds of land I own. If you're driving around in a $110,000 truck, that's probably why you don't own any land. I hate to be Dave Ramsey on you, but come on now. Yeah. Like drive the trucks that get you to point A, point B, and looks good. Use that other $50,000 to go put it on your first deal, because that extra $1,000 a month that you're paying for that could fund your first deal, and that first deal could make you $20,000, and that next deal could make you $40,000. It may cost you $1 million or $10 million in your lifetime to have that truck that costs a little bit more. So you want to look cool and you want to look rich, or you want to be rich. Soapbox over.
No, it's a good point.
Yeah. It is.
I'm not a Dave Ramsey guy, but that's right.
I like a lot of Dave's principles. I think it applies to 99%. I like to consider myself the 1%. But that's it, man. Like, I got friends left and right, and look, to each their own. Spend your money how you want to.
That's right.
You drive up here in a $100,000, $90,000 truck, and we're like, man, you got some turkeys? You got a place I can go hunt, dude? Drive a truck with some more miles on it, and you go
to go hunt your own turkeys, man.
Slade, I don't know how you go on all them hunts and stuff like that, because I don't have $1,000 car note a month.
Right.
And look, $1,000's not a lot.
No, not anymore. Mm-hmm. It's crazy everything costs more now, which is, hell, I'm just finding all that out. But
he's just about to find out.
Yeah, I'm about to find out whenever that baby comes out crying, and then it's all downhill from there.
So before we jump off of here, something else I just thought about, and all this stuff also, government programs, and we've got some good connection to help you with government programs that can help fund this. There's conservation easements. That's just going to be a whole different podcast, but there's all these government programs you can do to fund this stuff. And look, this stuff's fun. Man, you get into it, you get to make money. I mean, look, I know it's fun if you see your Apple stock, go up 20% over the year. I know that's fun. Yeah, you're making money, but like, I ain't never killed a deer or a turkey or caught a fish or rode a four-wheeler on my stock portfolio.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with it. If that's the way you want to make money, that's fine. But, man, look, talking about this 284 out here that I own, it's a place I'll probably sell one day. But guess what? Bentley killed 2 does out there last year. I've killed 2 or 3 turkeys out there. Bentley's killed a turkey out there. Like, you got some great memories on that place, and at the end of the day, those are priceless, man. 100%. You can't put a rate of return on that. And this ain't for everybody, but land flipping, which I don't like that word, land investing is fun, and I think that land's the best investment on earth. I agree. Tim, got anything? Did we do a good job? Did we answer some questions? Are you ready to go buy some land? Okay, he says he's been ready. We're good. All right, well, we're going to jump off of here. Y'all have a blessed day. Look, update on the real estate market. This is, I think, the 18th. We are got a lot of new properties coming to the market. I have definitely seen, and everybody in the real estate business knows that the last 6 weeks has been a little bit slow. I don't know if economy or election, or I think for us it's the dead heat of the summer, which is always slow. I have seen an uptick since July 4th. For instance, Caleb and I both showed property last Saturday. We're both showing property again this Saturday. And, you know, we got 3 showings a day on 48 acres with a cabin we just listed over here, getting a lot of activity. And that activity is going to increase August 15th, Labor Day weekend. It is going to steadily increase. So, you probably already went to the beach. You already probably went to the lake. Jump on my website, get on my email list, and find that property you're looking for, because I promise you, by Labor Day weekend, it's going to be a lot less of them on the market. Y'all have a blessed day.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Hunt and Land Man podcast. If you will, take a moment, give us a 5-star written review, guys. This really helps us out. And if you know anybody you think will be interested in this podcast, please share it with them.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Look, I'm flipping land just like the people watching this episode, so we're learning more and more each week. If you want to learn more, follow us on social media. Follow us on YouTube. Watch us as we go throughout this process, because I promise you the things I know today and the things I know 5 years ago now will change, and the market will change. You've got to stay on top of the market, and that's how you do it. You follow us, get on our email list, follow our social media, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of Hunt and Land Man TV.